Hi guys, another episode of Taking the Mikel. Obi Mikel, myself, Chris McCarty. Let me start, how are you, my friend? Hello.
Very well, and you?
Very well, mate. It's been a busy old weekend. Spent the entirety of it on the sofa. Awful lot of football to watch.
A lot, yeah.
There was a heck of a lot. Not that I'm complaining.
Yeah, I had to juggle, obviously, my daughter's birthday, 9th birthday, so I had to juggle the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
you
also
did.
had to make sure I have one of my eyes, on the game, saying, So it was a very, very busy weekend, but a very good weekend spent.
Did the girls sit down and watch Chelsea yet, John?
A little bit.
How much? Because my daughters, mine are younger than yours. I'll get about 15, 20 minutes.
They're both City fans, though. They're supposed to see.
Oh, John. You've just lost us subscribers.
I'm trying to convert them to support Chelsea, but it's one of those things where whatever I'm supporting or whatever I like, they dislike. They're like, "Oh no, Daddy, we don't want to like, we don't like Chelsea because you obviously you're Chelsea." So yeah.
You've got two glory hunters as kids. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, City fans.
Yeah. I think I'm trying. I'm trying to combat them, but hopefully we get there.
Right. Well, we will maybe touch on City. It's great to be back with you, John. And I guess we start with Chelsea, your beloved Chelsea, your former club, of course. The reason that so many of our listeners and subscribers tune in, and you should be smiling today because clean sheet, 3 points, 7 points on the board. Chelsea are upwardly mobile. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think it was a good win. It wasn't the greatest of game. I think we obviously did start the game well. First half, I thought Bournemouth played really, really well. They created chances. Yeah. Obviously, they had the penalty which they missed. If the penalty had gone in, it would have been a different game. So we didn't start the game well, and it wasn't a great game for us. But listen, I like to see us play sometimes when we're not playing well and trying to grind and win games like this. When you're not playing well, when you're not playing at your best, we don't expect the team to play well in every game. No. But sometimes when you're not playing that well, how do you win games? Which is the most important thing. And that's what we saw from the game yesterday. So for me, I was so happy the way we won that game because it was a difficult game, but we had to make sure it's a game we win. And the manner of how we won it, it's a game you celebrate because it was such a difficult game. We weren't playing well. Game weren't going our way. Bournemouth were all over us, on top of us. That's where you dig deep. I remember back in our days, we won games like this, when we were not playing well. And then you have the likes of JT, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Michael Essien, Peter Cech, the big name players, the senior players. They have to get everybody together and make sure we dig deep because, we say to ourselves, listen, we're not playing well.
No.
Okay. And we don't have to play well every game, but this is the game. If you want to be champions, if you want to start competing to finish in the top 4, to competing to win the Premier League, these are the games you have to go on and win because you're not playing at your best.
I know you're very demanding. Very demanding as a former Chelsea player and as a Chelsea fan.
You have to be. That's why we won loads, didn't we?
Of course, because you demand so high. But
exactly.
When you take a step back, John, this is still the early days of Enzo Maresca's team. And, he's working hard on the training ground. I can imagine there's a lot of work going in to try and get these players to buy in to his vision.
Exactly. And that's why I just said, exactly. It will take time. But again, in that process of trying to, perfect your philosophy and bring your philosophy to the team, to the players, to make them understand how you want the team to play. In these early days, if it's not going that well, you know what I mean? It went really well at Wolves. We came out flying, we smashed Wolves, and everything was perfect. But then again, if it's not going well in these early days of Enzo Maresca's reign at the club, these are the games you need to win because we're not playing well. We didn't play that great, It wasn't a great night for us, lots of mistakes, players giving away the ball here and there. Fofana, I think, who started the season really well, gave away the penalty as well. Listen, these mistakes happen, these things happen, but how do you come out and win that game?
Yeah.
This breeds confidence into the team. It brings a lot of, emotions. And then when you win these kind of games and you celebrate these kind of games, this brings the team together because it was a hard-fought win and we had to dig deep to win that game. And that's what makes it special because sometimes when you're playing well, it's so easy. How do you win games when you're not playing, when it's not going well for you? And that's what I saw. And the team did so well. in the way we managed the game, in the way we had to fight to win the game.
Substitutions essentially turned this game and won you this match down at the Vitality. We spoke in a previous edition of Taking the Mikel about Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
And you said, John, there's a player there, I think we'd all agree, he just needs that little bit of love, that little bit of TLC, that arm around the shoulder, and he's got a point to prove. Because a lot of people, myself included, when you look at the brass tacks, the facts laid out in front of you, there is a big question mark over whether Jadon Sancho, week in, week out, can do it in the Premier League. But he comes off the bench, and it's the Borussia Dortmund Jadon Sancho that we saw.
We saw exactly the Borussia Dortmund Jadon Sancho, and that's what when you don't remember when I spoke about him on the pod, when his name was linked with the club, with Chelsea, and I said, listen, if we will get Jadon Sancho to the club, I think he will be a fantastic player for us. Of course, he hasn't done it for United. He didn't do it at United. But we can't discredit the player that he is. I mean, there's a player there. How do you get the best out of him? Obviously, something has happened between him and Erik ten Hag, and that relationship, I don't think will ever get better. And that's why the player had to go. The player had to go to play football. And I think it was the best decision for him. And, he's come to Chelsea. I know his first game. Let's not
get carried away.
Let's not get carried away because it's just first game. And of course, no disrespect to Bournemouth as well, but he came on, he affected the game really well. He was very, very positive. Every time he had the ball, he was trying to take players on. He was trying to, dribble past the player, create chances. And that's what we want to see from our wingers. Pedro Neto didn't do that the other day. Madueke as well didn't have the best of games. So for Jadon to come in and affect the game the way he did, and obviously got the assist for the goal, and of course won the man of the match. So for me, it was a perfect day for him. A perfect way to have your debut at Chelsea. So for me, it was fantastic. I think Maresca thinks he knows how to get the best out of him, and let's hope that happens, because if we do get the best out of Jadon, he will be a fantastic player for us. Of course, listen, we don't expect him to play that well week in, week out, every week. If he does, fantastic. But if we can get 15 or 10 of these performances out of Jadon all throughout the season, I'll take that.
It's interesting, John. We've spoken off air. Jadon Sancho, for whatever reason, Jadon Sancho and Manchester United just did not fit.
No.
You're right to point out this is a cameo performance. We've still got to wait a bit of time to see if he'll settle.
Let's
at the
not
bridge.
get carried away.
Exactly. And I know we're guilty of
I know a lot of Chelsea fans are getting carried away,
Of
which
course.
we should be. I mean, because it's been a long time that we've seen a player come into the club with such, breath of fresh air. It's like we're watching somebody, who's just coming from a different planet. The way he played, he was so positive the whole throughout the game. Every time he had the ball, he was so positive. And that's what we want to see. We want to see your players go past plays, go past defenders, create chances. And he did that all throughout the game as soon as he came onto the pitch. And he just affected the game really, really well for us.
Given that
so
freedom,
much positive,
Given that freedom, John, I look at someone like, Jurgen Klopp, I believe, said it last week in an interview. He was a £75 million footballer. He does not become a bad player.
He doesn't become a bad player overnight. Again, it comes down to the relationship with your manager. Do you feel like, I really don't want to be here anymore? Because listen, when I played, obviously, our time at Chelsea, I had some times when, we had obviously 12. I was there for 11 years. I probably had about 11, 12 managers.
It's a lot.
It was managers in and out. Sometimes you have a manager that comes in and just doesn't fancy you. I remember, obviously, the likes of Didier Drogba. I remember when Filippo Scolari came into the football club. He didn't really fancy Didier that much.
It was Anelka.
It was Anelka who was the guy through the middle. And obviously, Didier Drogba, being Didier Drogba, the main man, the main guy at the club, wasn't happy. And the relationship between him and Scolari just went. There was no fixing it. You couldn't fix it.
Did they speak or no?
They weren't really speaking that much. And of course, the manager had to go at the end of the day because the big guy had to play. And once we started losing games, he had to go because Didier had to come back to the team. So for me, and you could see back then, Didier was just all around the training ground, all around the place. He was just walking around moaning. He wasn't happy. He was just grumpy. And that wasn't the Didier Drogba that we know. He's always a happy guy who likes to be around the place. And when he's happy, he plays well. And of course, Scolari came in. He didn't fancy Didier, he fancied Anelka. And these things happen, you know. Obviously, JT as well with AVB when he came, when he came to the club, with Frank as well. Left them out a couple of times, and they weren't happy. So you do get these things, with managers. It's about how do you deal with it. And I think the relationship with Jadon and Erik ten Hag wasn't fixable,
no.
And the player had to go. And I am happy that he's come to Chelsea. And with the performance the other day, for me, fantastic. I want to see him do that more and more. Be happy. He looks free. He looks like the shackles are off. He wants to play football. He's enjoying his game. He's playing with a smile. He's playing with freedom. This is all you need from football players. When players are happy, when players are free, especially players like him, they need to be free. And in United, he just feels like there's something holding him back.
Straight jacket.
There's something, exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's the feeling with the manager around the place, or he feels like, these players, he feels he's not getting, the support from some of his teammates. When the whole thing happened, he just feels like he's not happy being there anymore.
100%.
And every time I've heard him speak since he came to the club since he come to Chelsea, he looks like he's a fresh guy, he's a fresh player. And he just feels like, he wants to enjoy his football. And I'm so happy, I'm so pleased. And of course, we didn't play well. No, we didn't play well. And let's not sit here and say, we won the game, but we didn't play well. So I think it's 2 games now in a row. Obviously, the Crystal Palace game, where I thought we didn't play that great, but we could have won the game.
Should have won the game.
We should have won the game, yeah. But the game against Bournemouth, we didn't deserve to win the game, but we won the game. But I like to see us win this kind of games. When the games are difficult, we dig deep and win this kind of games.
And you did. Yeah. And substitutes. Jadon Sancho, you're right, came off the bench, looked, dare I say it, a little glimpse of the Jadon of old.
Yeah.
Christopher Nkunku, that I've got a couple of fellas close to the club who tell me that he is top. He's been unlucky with injuries. A little bit of frustration I felt in the celebration. he clearly believes in himself. He's looked at the start of the campaign. He's looking at players around him and thinking, I should be in the starting 11. Took the goal
really well, though. Really well. Really
tight space.
Yeah, tight space. And this is what you need from players, creative players with quality, with talent. He got the ball half turn and he had about 2-3 players with him, just little magic, go around them and just smash it, on the corner there. So for me, the way he finished, the way he scored the goal, yes, a little bit of frustration with the celebration, which is understandable. Listen, you have to let the manager know that.
Off, right?
Exactly, that you want to play. You just don't want to. If you're always happy to see on the bench,
it's true.
That's not good enough. You want to be frustrated. You want to show the manager, listen, I deserve to be on the starting 11. I want to be on the pitch from the start. And if you can show that from your performances, and I think that's what Maresca also demands from the players. Show me that you want to be on the pitch. Don't show me on that. Don't speak. Show me on the pitch.
Yeah.
And now he's shown that he deserves to start the game. So let's see the next game. Does he start? I like to see him start. Because every time he's come on, he's affected the game.
So where do you start him, John? Because I know Cole Palmer had actually one of his poorer games in a Chelsea shirt, and his standards.
Yeah, he's standard.
Even he's been Chelsea's main man for the last 12 months. So you know what I'm going to ask you?
Yeah.
Nkunku, what is his position, and is he now going to be pushing Nicholas Jackson? Is he a number 9? Do you see his qualities in that number 9 position?
I think so. Listen, I know Jackson plays every game, starts every game, obviously scored back-to-back against Wolves and against Palace, didn't score against Bournemouth. But I think we have these players as well who can play that sort of a false 9 kind of role. So do you start him every game? Is that something the manager might look and say, listen, maybe I give him a little rest, or, starting Nkunku there as a false 9. João Felix as well is there as well. Start one of these players as a false 9. And then just create the freedom of these players. You start Jadon, you have Cole Palmer, you have Madueke on the other side, and then you have maybe Nkunku or João Felix. The freedom of these players interchanging there. I think that's something maybe we might try and see how that works. So for me, I think Nkunku with this performances coming off the bench, sometimes I think he deserves to get a start. I think maybe pushing Nicholas Jackson to, in the starting position there. So for me, that's not a bad idea. So I think, of course, Cole Palmer definitely should play as a number 10. And I think Jadon Sancho should, from his performance, start the next game the way he performed coming on from
Who's the best sub you've ever played with, John? Who's a player? And as you say, you're always going to be annoyed if you're not starting a game.
Yeah.
But who's a player? Like we've all clubs have their cult hero super subs, right? Man United is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Chicharito for a spell as well seemed to come onto the football field, impact it, score goals, or do something that would lighten up the match. From a Chelsea standpoint, who is the bloke that you guys would look to and go, he's coming off the bench, we've got a chance here, he'll do something?
You know what? There's a player that a lot of people don't talk so much about. Obviously, he doesn't get the credit that he really deserves. And it might be surprising here. Solomon Kalou was the guy, Solomon Kalou was the guy who was always coming off the bench. And he was always coming off the bench and, coming off the bench and try to affect the game in different ways, create chances, and just, bring something different. So he was that guy that we always looked up, when we're struggling or when we down 2-1, 1-0. Kalou was the guy who managers always looked up to and like, okay, Kalou, now is your time to come on and try to affect the game. And he did that really, really well. So he was that one player that didn't get much credit that I think he deserved, at the time at the club.
Was he the kind of guy that would be pissed off that he was on the bench, or
no,
he'd accept it? He was a happy guy.
I think at some point he accepted the fact that he's a sub, which is wrong to say.
The penny drops.
But I think at some point Kalou kind of accepted the fact that he wasn't going to start games.
He's got an important role in the
team. He's got an important role to play. He knows that he will come on 60, 70 minutes. Kalou will definitely come on. So for me, I think there was a point where in his career at Chelsea, he kind of understood, you know what? Yeah. I'm not going to fight to start. I know I will eventually come on. And he accepted that role. And that's the role he accepted. And he played it really, really well. So for me, Kalou was that guy.
I did laugh in Nkunku's celebration with a little balloon. You were telling me off air, it's to do with his son.
Yeah, I think it's to do with his son.
His son loves balloons.
I think his son loves balloons. So I think every time he plays now, I don't know, where does he hide the balloon?
Sock. I mean, there's only so many places you can hide him.
He definitely hides them somewhere. But I think his son, from what I heard, his son likes balloon. And now he just does it every time he scores a goal. I mean, it's something to do, isn't it? I mean, to keep your son happy, to keep your he's doing it well. If he keeps scoring and keep blowing
give him the balloons.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him your celebration. Did you ever?
Ooh, I never scored much.
I know that's true, but you scored one or two.
I wouldn't be sitting at home thinking, oh, what kind of celebration will I celebrate this weekend when I score? Fuck no.
Didn't score
that
enough.
Never came to my head. You were like, what came to my head was, how do I make sure I break the play? How do I make sure I'm in the right position at the right time? Scoring was definitely not in my head. Definitely. I was never thinking about that. So I definitely didn't have any celebration because I never scored.
Because Drogba, when I think of Chelsea, Frank obviously had the one dedicated to his mother.
Yeah.
He'd look up to the sky. Drogba had the kind of like, it wasn't quite the era plane, it was the Drogba, which was, do you any backstory to that, or that was just what he did?
I never asked him that. We never asked him that. It was just his celebration.
It was his celebration.
Yeah, it was just a celebration. And I think back then, nobody really, we were just boring guys. We were just winning games. I don't think anyone had a proper, this is the proper celebration. I think it was just Didier, obviously.
Didier was...
Yeah. I think when you played with these guys, listen, everybody had a role. I think that's what made us very successful as well. Everybody had a role to play. You have to understand your role. And if you don't understand, they will let you know about it. Trust me, they will let you know. They'll tell you, oi, your fucking job is to make sure you break the play and pass the ball.
That's it.
That's it.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Don't get ahead of yourself, mate. And when you start getting ahead of yourself, they will bring you right back down. They'll be like, oi, listen, calm down. Do your job. That's your job. So for me, and that's something that made us really, really successful because everybody knew their job. And we play together as a team. If you're not doing your job, trust me, they'll let you know.
But it is, coming back to this Chelsea team, it is rather kind of, I guess, exciting from a Chelsea perspective. Jadon feels that he should start and wants to start. Yeah. Christopher Nkunku the same. Yeah. So when Enzo's looking at his bench and he's got all of this attacking talent to bring onto the field, João Felix as well, hey, listen, lads, you got to produce something here. If you want to force your way into my team next week, I need to see something. So for Sancho and Nkunku to link up as they did and become the match winners, it's exciting for the rest of the campaign for Chelsea.
It's a fucking good headache to have
Yeah.
for the manager, though. But I mean, come on, when you have all those options, those fantastic options to choose from. But you know, he just has to be the boss. He has to be the man to make the decision. This is my decision. And if you show me on the training pitch that you deserve to start the game, of course you start the game. If you're not training well, you don't start the game. And I kind of like that from Maresca. He's made it pretty clear from the players. You don't train well, you don't play.
Yeah.
You have no chance of playing. So the way you train, the way you perform in training, every manager that I've worked with has always told us that the way you train is the way you play on the weekends. Don't think if you only probably Eden Hazard was the guy who got away with it.
Yeah, the only one.
He was that talented that he didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit. Sometimes he never tied his laces. Yeah. He never tied his boots. He never laced up his boots. And he was just walking around with his arm around his, his balls and everything.
But it worked.
It worked.
We're not knocking it.
He comes on the weekend and wins the man of the match. You can't knock it. So probably Eden Hazard was the only guy in my whole footballing career that got away with that. And I think Maresca's made it clear with this team that you don't train well, you don't play. And this is a nice headache for him to have. He has Madueke, Neto, Nkunku, Jadon Sancho, Modric, all these players to pick from. So he has to make a decision of who to start. I think the good thing is that whoever's coming off the bench should be ready to improve the team. And we talked about it during the transfer window, didn't we? Are we bringing in players that when they come on the team, when they come into the team, they will improve the squad, they will improve the team? And that's something we're seeing from Jadon.
And we have to talk very briefly Robert Sanchez, because and again, one performance doesn't make, or what is it? One swallow does not make a summer, is the famous saying. Yeah. There's still question marks about Robert Sanchez, but let's give him his due, because we're often accused of being too negative on this podcast. Let's give him his flowers. Yeah. Penalty save.
Yes.
He had, 7 saves across the 90 minutes?
I think it's probably, I think
he should have been man of the match.
I think he should have been the man of the match, but I think he should have been man of the match, honestly, because I think he deserved it. I think he played well. I think that's the thing. When we talked about it. You need a top goalkeeper if you want to be competing to win the Premier League or to finish top 4. You need a top goalkeeper, and that's something that Sanchez showed. The other day.
He's going to just show it week in, week out.
He needs to show it week in, week out. He needs to perform week in, week out. I know it's tough to play well every week because, I played the game. I know how it's difficult to play well every week. Yeah, exactly. So, but, we as a goalkeeper, you need a top goalkeeper if you want to win the Premier League or if you want to finish in the top 4. And his performance the other day, definitely credit to him. He played really well, saved the penalty, made lots of saves, and kept us in the game. Us in the game because, we would have been down 2-0 or so, in the first half or also in the start of the second half. So his performance the other day was really, really good. And if he can continue to perform like this, for me, I think he should be the number 1. Obviously, the transfer window is shut. He should be the number 1 at the club.
It's West Ham next up for Chelsea at the London Stadium.
That's a tough game.
I mean, what was your relationship like with West Ham fans?
We never liked each other. I remember once we went to play at West Ham. So we're driving into the...
Was it Upton Park?
Upton Park, yeah. Mate, they smashed our bus.
Oh, did they?
Smashed with rocks, stones. I don't know where they got them from. Ripped it from the fucking building or something. What do you see? The drive through in Upton Park is so tight.
Yeah, tight.
It's so tight, and you can see the fans already starting to get in shit-faced, drinking and getting so drunk. There's bars around the road there, and we were driving into the road. Mate, I don't know where they got the rocks from. On our windows, boom, 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 smashed it before we got on the pitch. It's fucking crazy. So for me, we never liked. There was always hatred. I mean, in the game you can feel it as well. Obviously, Frank was there before left. Joe Cole was there before left. So all that little hatred is just boils up. And every time we play West Ham, it was always a fucking nightmare.
Fans on at you, and they'll be up for it.
They'll be up for it. They're always up for it. So I think it's going to be a tough game for us. It's going to be a difficult game for us. I think that's where we're probably going to get tested again. Obviously, we lost against City, which was a big test. I think West Ham will be another big test for us as well. If we can go there and get a result, that would be absolutely fucking fantastic. So let's make sure we are on our game that day and just play with freedom. Play with freedom. Jadon positive. Play well. So we need to be solid. We need to defend well. We need to also play with freedom when we have the ball, trying to create chances. And that's something that I think Enzo will tell the team. Obviously we need to play well. We got away with one the other day, and if we play poorly like we did against Bournemouth, we'll lose the game. So we have to be on our game. We have to start the game well and trying to impose ourselves in the game. We have to impose ourselves, and that's something we always did when we played West Ham. We always imposed ourselves on the game, take the game away from them, take the stink away from them, because their fans will be there. They will be up for it. How do you keep them quiet? It's by playing well. It's by starting the game well. So we have to make sure we do that.
Of all the places you went to, stadium-wise, John, was the one that you did not fancy? It's interesting you talking about Upton Park. Fans are on you, coming in. You're thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. Is Upton Park, in terms of a stadium that you went, I've got a bad feeling. Every time I go there, I'm always worried whether I perform well.
Obviously, the one everybody talks about is Anfield, isn't it? Anfield is the one. It's horrible to play at Anfield. I mean,
Why? Right. Because of the noise.
The noise. The fans are right on top of you. Back in the day when you had the likes of Alonso, Gerrard, Mascherano, that midfield, they knew how to get the fans up. Mascherano, first tackle, he goes and smashes you. The fans are up screaming on top of you. Alonso with his passes, Steven Gerrard, who can do everything, run, tackle, pass, score, head. They had it all going for them. They knew how to get the fans on their side every night, every game. So for us, it was always difficult to go and play at Anfield. And you can never take the game away from them, because once you try to do that, Mascherano comes with a tackle, Steven Gerrard goes with a tackle, gets the fans, everybody starts screaming and shouting. So for us, it was always Liverpool. And also after West Ham as well was tough. Was also tough, but the one everybody, is Anfield. Anfield is crazy.
It's the legendary
Anfield nightmare stadium.
You'll never walk alone and all that jazz. Listen, Chelsea, great win in the end, 1-0. Didn't play well, as you said. This point of the season, get the 3 points on the board.
Get the 3 points. And that's what we said. That's what I've said. These kind of games will happen. It's how we win them. We have to be able to win this.
Find a way.
And when you start winning games like this, it starts to bring the winning mentality into the team, because fuck me, we've got away with one here, but we managed to win. Yeah. And that's something we need in this team. And that's something, once we start to win these kind of games, it will start to bring the togetherness, the emotion in the team, because this kind of games, you celebrate it differently, because this was a hard-fought win. The players will become together, the manager and everybody, the staff will be together. I know how it feels to win this kind of games. That's what I'm telling you, because it definitely, the celebration is way much better than when you play so well and when it's easy and you win. Trust me, when you win difficult games that oh wow, we've got away with one here, the feeling, the celebration is way different.
Oh, well, I tell you, and I'm going to get a lot of stick for what I'm about to say, I'm sure, but one team, not necessarily back in your day, but the team now that is able to grind out victories when they don't play all that well, I think you know where I'm going with this, is Arsenal. Arsenal have actually got a little bit of a habit in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
You look at this season alone, they went to Villa Park, Ollie Watkins had those two big chances. They come away with a 2-0 win.
Yeah.
Spurs at the weekend.
Same.
Missing Rice, missing Odegaard, not at their fluent best, Arsenal. They win on a set piece. I've got to ask about this because I know there's been a lot of stuff said and written about this since the game finished. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1. I watched this game and I was a little bit flabbergasted that the commentators did not make more of the push.
Yeah.
Now, I know the game's gone soft. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
You're talking about Mascherano smashing.
Yeah.
Can't really do that these days. That being said, John, there's a push there.
There was a push there.
Was it a free kick? Or am I talking absolute bullshit?
Definitely, there was two hands at his back. We can all agree with that. There was both hands at his back, pushed him. But again, it's soft. How soft was it? How hard was the push? Was it soft? Was it just a little tap of the back? But if you watch the clip, if you slow it down, and also watching the fast. You can see there was definitely a push.
Yeah.
So for me, did he give up so easily? Did he not fight? First of all, let's start with his defending anyways. His defending was really, really poor. Was shambles. The way he started the defending the corner. If you're a player, you get thought. When you're defending a corner kick, you have to have shoulder to shoulder with your,
you have to face
exactly. You have to face the man and also look at the ball. So for me, his starting position was so wrong because how can you be in front of the defender if the ball goes over you? You're no man's land. There's nothing you can do about it, and that's exactly what happened.
And he's square on as well, isn't
exactly. So for me, he was right in front of. You can't defend in front of Gabriel, who was the best header of the ball.
Yeah.
In those set pieces, him and Saliba. So for me, his starting position was absolutely wrong. Yes, was there a push? I definitely think there was a little push there. Now, is that enough to give a foul? I don't know, really. But yes, there was a push. I'm surprised that VAR didn't really have a look at it that much too, because that made a difference. That gave Arsenal 3 points. So for me, I think that was something that I thought the VAR could have, the referee could have gone to at least look at it, because there was a definite push. Now, was it enough to give a foul? That's another conversation. But again, like I said, his starting position was absolutely wrong. For an experienced player, experienced defender as Romero, for me, his starting, you can't defend. Why are you going to be in front of the player?
In the way that you are, yeah.
It's so wrong. You have to be shoulder to shoulder, or you have to face him to make sure that you see where he's going. If the ball comes, you have one eye on the player, one eye on the ball. Yeah. So you can be able to dictate if you're going for the ball or you're going to try to disrupt the player from heading the ball. He did nothing of that. He was just standing there. Yes, maybe there was a little push. Now, is that enough to give a foul? That's another conversation.
It's interesting because he's a perplexing fella, is Cristian Romero. He's a World Cup winner. We're reading reports that Real Madrid, PSG, Man United were interested in him during the summer. I look at Romero and I think there's a mistake coming. Not maybe every game, but I know something's coming with Romero.
Sometimes it goes off, isn't it? It's like there's a switch and he becomes he becomes erratic on the pitch. And then sometimes he's so composed. He's a world-class defender. He plays with so much confidence. He's a very, very good defender. And other times you look at him, you're like, what's wrong with you? So erratic all over the fucking place. But for me, fantastic player. I think when he plays for Argentina, we never see him so erratic. Obviously, I think he has the GOAT playing next to him, so he can't do that.
Yeah, well, that helps.
You play, he's playing for Argentina. He has Messi in the team, so he can't really misbehave. But every time I watch him play at Spurs, you can't really.
He's a bit of a ball scare.
Yeah, you thinking when is he going to go off?
Yeah.
When is he going to go off with him? And when he goes off, he's becomes so erratic. He's all over the place. But yesterday, I thought he played really, really well yesterday until that mistake. For me, I think that's a mistake. I think that's something he will look at. He will know that I've made him. This is a big mistake. My starting position was so wrong, and that's where the whole thing started.
He's got to be more aggressive than
he got to be more aggressive. But again, you have to have a look. One eye on the ball, one eye on the ball, and one eye on the man. We get taught this week in, week out as players. Your defending coach will tell you that as well.
Yeah.
You can't defend that way. So for me, and again as well, did the goalkeeper not Vicario? I mean,
he's boxed in a little bit, but he's got to be more, again, aggressive. We come back to that word.
He's got to be more aggressive. It's got to be more aggressive. And that's why you need goalkeepers who can command that area. This is my area. Fuck off. This is my place. You know what I mean? He didn't any of that, Vicario. He was just there. Arsenal will do that. Ben White does that. Saliba will do that. They will try to make sure they block you from coming out. Exactly. And gives Gabriel the free way to come in and head the ball. You knew all that. So his starting position wasn't that great. I thought he could be a little bit back, 1 or 2 steps backwards, so it can give him that space to run and jump and try to, catch the ball or punch it away. So he was just standing there, and the place was so crowded already. There was a little community going on there of players. Everybody was just, muscling each other. And he had no place to go because his starting position was so bad. And the same as Romeo. So for me, there was a lot of mistakes there, but I think definitely starts from Romero.
I know you're a fan of Ange Postecoglou, as I am. I remember on the episode with Eden Hazard.
He wins things in his second season.
He does.
You can't win things playing this way, mate. I also I watched Spurs yesterday. I'm very disappointed with the way they played. I thought, knowing that without Odegaard, without Declan Rice, they could have done more. They were huffing and puffing, but there was no really clinical chances that they produced. You know, at second half, they started trying to put in crosses, but you have the best defenders, two best defenders who are the best in heading the ball away, defenders. And even when they tried to create 2v1 on the flanks, there was not really much going on. So for me, it was just flat. That's what it was. They huffed and puffed, but there's not really anything to come out of it. And again, one player that I know I have to talk about is Spurs. It's Maddison. I was so disappointed with him yesterday. So disappointed with him yesterday. He took him off. Rightly so. I think he should have taken him off in the first half. I watched him when he came to Spurs. It's my problem with some players. When you go to a football club, the hunger is there. The desire is there. And after 1-2 seasons, it's gone. Fades away. And that's something that I see happening to James Maddison. He gets the ball. He just... That was not what he was doing when he came to the football club. When he came to Spurs, he was so happy. He was so hungry because he came to a massive football club, Spurs. You watched him play. Everybody was like, wow. Assists, creating chances, running off the ball, trying to get the ball, always showing up. Now, you watch the game, you don't see James Maddison play.
It's true.
You don't see him. He gets the ball. He tries to do the easy thing, which is what we did. Pass the ball. There.
What you did, 5 yards, right?
No, pass there, exactly. But that's not what his role is. He's a number 10. He's there to affect games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's his role. Let Bazuma do that. Let Sarr do all that. You affect the game. Do what you did for your first season at the club because you affected games. You made Spurs play well. And when you play well, the team play well. Yesterday, he was flat. And not just yesterday. From the start of the season, he's been flat. So he needs to come back to that performances that he started when he joined the club. He needs to get that hunger back. He needs to get that desire back and not thinking, oh, now I'm number one on the team sheet. No, Ange needs to speak to him. He needs to get him to kick on again, to kick on. So for me, I was disappointed with him and Spurs yesterday.
Yeah, I was as well. The word flat, something's just
something wasn't there.
Not right.
And you playing at home as well. Again, knowing that the two best players are not playing. Take advantage, go at them, put men in the box. Sometimes the crosses that were coming in the second half, there was nobody there.
Yeah.
Heung-min Son as well. I don't know. How old is he now?
30, 31, I think, Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Other side of 30.
Yeah. I mean, he was also flat yesterday. You know, sometimes I watch him, he was in the midfield. I'm thinking, what are you doing in the midfield?
Yeah.
Get in the box. Trying to take people on. That's what we know you for, Heung-min Son. You take players on, you run at players because when you do that, they're scared of you. That's what defenders are scared of you because that's what you're good at. So get in the box, get there, try to affect the game. So I was disappointed. Solanke as well, huffed and puffed yesterday. You know, he tried his best.
He had in the first half, get out of his feet and hit it. Took 2 touches and Saliba's recovery paces.
Yeah, but again, if he was at Bournemouth, I think he will do exactly that. For, new teams, just trying to get used to the plays. And again, that comes with confidence. If he had the confidence that he had when he was at Bournemouth, knowing that I'm the man, I'm just going to one touch, put it, smash it. He would have done that. No, I think Solanke will be good for Spurs. He just needs more time, but he needs the likes of Maddison and Heung-min Son to show him how it's done. They need to, their performances, they need to make sure that they increase and get their performances to where it should be.
No doubt about it. Just the 4 points from Spurs at the start of this campaign. And
they're not going to win any trophy like this. Ange needs to know that he can't. I know he says he'll win something in his second year, but he's not going to win anything playing this way.
I'm with you on that front. Big one this weekend, win for Arsenal. We congratulate them. As a Chelsea legend, I know that's difficult to do, but they've done it.
Not happy with that now.
All eyes now. All eyes on the Etihad this weekend coming, John. It's City against Arsenal.
Massive game.
City 4 from 4, the only team that are perfect in the Premier League. We were talking about this one off air. City win on Sunday, and I know you're expecting them to do it, John.
Yeah.
It's 5 points over
5
Arsenal.
points.
And it's all a little bit like, here we go again.
I know, and you'd be thinking, when are they going to lose the game? If they beat Arsenal on Sunday, you'd be thinking, when and where will they lose the game? Because I look at this Arsenal team. they haven't been playing well. They've been winning games, but they haven't been playing well. Again, that's the sign of champions. That's the sign of teams.
Good teams.
Good team that want to compete, that knows how to win games. You know what I mean? But they haven't been playing well. But City have been playing really well, winning games. So if Arsenal lose to City on Sunday at the Etihad, 5 points difference, listen, let's not sit here and say the title race is over. But that can be a massive, because that's 5 points against
5
City.
Points.
That's a lot.
And it's City we're talking about here. And
that's
they
City.
normally come strong. You know, we know, yes, okay, they're strong
and with
throughout
the way
the
they're
campaign.
playing, the way Haaland is, breaking records, scoring
9-4.
goals, you can't bet against them.
And John, I looked at their starting 11. I mean, I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners and viewers, the fantasy football, you don't know who to pick. So at the weekend, there was no Vardio, there was no Ruben Diaz.
Phil Foden.
Rodri's been out the majority of the season. Yeah. Bernardo Silva left on the bench. No Phil Foden. No Jeremy Doku. I mean, that's 6 players who you think on song they start.
Yeah.
And yet, he's able to mix and match. Rico Lewis went to left back. Kyle Walker came in. Akanji and Stones. Gundogan, Kovacic. De Bruyne, Grealish. And then it was Savinho, their new boy. And Hatley. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I know we all, everybody was like, oh, City haven't signed a player yet. Are they going to be the same? Are they going to deepen their form? Or winning 4 in a row? Are they tired? Is that going to get to their head? How hungry are they going to be again to start the season, to win 5 in a row? Now they're showing us that they're hungry. They want to do it 5 in a row. They're showing us that with their performances.
It's interesting,
and again,
John,
with all those players not starting the game, all those players that you've just mentioned, normally on a good day, on a very, very important game, they start. They all start. And having them on the bench and still, winning games, for me, it's absolutely fantastic. I give credit to Pep. I know everybody talk about, boring cities. Just they play the best football in the league. You can't deny that. We can't. I'm not going to sit here and lie. City play the best football in the league. You have to give them that. Of course. You watch the likes of De Bruyne. You watch Haaland, the way he scores goals. You watch Doku, the way he runs at people. They have Ilkay Gundogan back in the team. Phil Foden, he's still having a rest. Rodri, who's one of the best players in the, in the team. So for me, they look strong. I know everybody said how strong Arsenal is, but the City team, they look strong.
It's interesting. I'll go back to a previous edition of our Obi-Wan podcast made possible by Bet Winner, Robert Pires, in this season, saying to us that the one record that
Pep is going to do it
is the invincible. Now, do I think Man City will go the entire campaign unbeaten? No, I don't, John. But it is interesting that you talk about the hunger. There are still records. There are still things out there that Pep, because he's a perfectionist, that man.
He's a perfectionist. He's a perfectionist as well of getting the best out of players.
Yeah.
You look at Jack Grealish, again, the hunger is coming back because you know what? Pep is demanding so much from him.
You didn't make the England squad. Exactly. He's got a chip on your shoulder. You got to go
exactly. out and Pep is demanding so much from Jack Grealish. And Jack Grealish understands that. And you can see that, he's looking like, again, he's coming back to Jack Grealish that, we all know, taking players on, playing the way... With freedom, but also working so hard for the team, which is something he did from his first year at the club. So Pep demands so much from the players. If you're not performing, you have somebody else who's going to start the game, who's going to perform better than you. So you have to be on your A game. And for me, he's a perfectionist. Week in, week out, he gets the best out of these players. And again, one thing he's managed to do now is he's found a way of managing the team. He manages the players. He manages the team really, really well. We've talked about Phil Foden hasn't started a single game, but because he's played so much from last season.
Yeah, he's resting. Him and Rodri.
He's giving them that extra rest.
Yeah.
Pep has come out and say, I know the authorities, FIFA, the UEFA, the Premier League, they're not going to give them the rest. I have to give them the rest.
But when you've got a squad like that, John, it's
easy, isn't it? Yeah, when you have a squad like that, it's easy to pick.
The one I'm missing is Nathan Ake.
Nathan Ake as well, yeah.
So that's
he's injured, that's 7.
Mental.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental.
So for me, the team is absolutely, they're on fire. They've gone 4 games now with a win. And Haaland, what a machine. What a machine. When you have a player like that, absolutely joy to watch.
He's fixture proof. He's what I call in fantasy football, that bloke is fixture proof. Because there'll be people thinking, do I captain Haaland for Arsenal? Yes, because he's fixture proof. It's Erling Haaland. He'll score no matter the opposition.
He will.
You back that fella to score.
He will. He will score. He will score, definitely. I mean, it'll be interesting to see him again on Sunday against Arsenal, because that's one team he doesn't do well against. He hasn't done well so far against Gabriel and Saliba. So I'm interested to see how he performs on Sunday. And it's amazing to know that this is the first time he's come out publicly and say, this is the first time that in my career for such a long time, I'm fit. I'm not carrying any niggle. I'm not carrying any injury. I'm not carrying anything here and there. I'm fit. You can see that.
Yeah, you can.
Now he's running around. He's chasing down players. He's defending. He's everywhere. And that just brings him, now when I watch him, he's more engaged in the game. And it's so interesting to hear that that Pep talked about it, that the more we see him defend and run around and get involved in the game, he stays involved in the game. Because if he just stands there waiting for the game to come, when the ball comes to you, because you're not switched on, you don't know what to do with the ball. But because now he's running around, he's switched on, he's engaged with the play, defending, trying to make sure he helps the team. When the ball comes to him, because he's already switched on, he knows what to do with the ball. Quick instinct, he knows exactly what to do. And that's so interesting to know that.
Oh, it's scary, John. It's what it is.
Scary.
9 goals in 4 games. Right. It's going to be a barnstorming weekend. Upcoming City, Arsenal, of course, and Chelsea.
Oh, that's a big
Your
game.
beloved Chelsea go to
and
West Ham.
We have a very tough game. I think West Ham is going to be a tough game.
I agree.
We need to start well that game.
And you need to win it
We
to
need to
keep
win
the
it.
pressure on the top, because Chelsea, as you always tell me, you should be targeting the top, not this top 4 malarkey.
No,
teams
definitely.
are.
I mean, listen, if we can finish top 4 this season, I'll take it.
Success.
I'll take it. That's
No
a
doubt.
massive, massive success for us. If we finish top 4 this season, I will humbly, gladly drink a bottle of champagne on that.
I'll give you that. Right, taking the Mikel, of course, each and every week with this man, John Obi Mikel, Chelsea legend. Just want to mark your cards. We do have our big interview, the Obi-Wan podcast, made possible by bet winner Gary Cahill.
Yes.
That episode is out. I know it's made 1 or 2 headlines. When does our podcast not, John? There's always a headline or 2 in there. We've got some more big names upcoming on the Obi-Wan podcast, made possible by bet winner. Subscribe to us. Please do give us a rating as well. All your usual podcast platforms. You can check us out on our YouTube channel as well. And give us a follow across social media at Obi-Wan Podcast. I know that's the bane of your existence, John, because you've now got people DMing you on a daily blooming basis. I get messages from you. I'm getting DMs. There's always someone that wants a bit of you, John.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we gotta keep doing what we do. I think the good thing with this podcast is that, we very truthful.
Yeah.
We say it the way it is.
You do. I lie on a constant. No, I jest.
No, we have to be honest. Listen, I played the game as well. I know how it is sometimes, when you get criticized, and I try to not be as critic as I can, but I still have to say the truth, because I was criticized heavily when I played, but that's just the game.
Did it help you?
Kind of helped me, didn't it? It did help me. It will help you. If you're a player that wants to succeed, it will help you. You have to learn how to accept criticism. It is part of the game.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody has their opinion. When I played for Chelsea, the same. When I played for the national team, the same. You will have people that don't like the way you play or don't like the way you do things on the pitch. It's part of the game. You're not going to please everybody.
No.
You have to learn to take it. It is part of the game.
And does it help you, honestly?
No, definitely does help me, because I used to read everything, because the more I read it, I want to prove you wrong the next game. I want to make sure that I train harder. I get myself ready for the next game to prove you wrong, because that's what I want to do. If you're a football player, you want to prove people wrong.
Did you have a hit list, John? Did you have names of people, those journalists, ex-players, ex-managers? Did you have a little list?
Yeah. The Mirror.
Really?
On the Sun, yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
The Mirror and the Sun. Right. They went after you, did they?
Well, listen, it is part of the game, isn't it? Yeah. But you sometimes when you have a good game and you look at your ratings, you look at your ratings on the next day. We used to have that on the Sun. I don't know. Do they still do the ratings?
Yes, of course they do.
Yeah. So we used to have that.
John Obi Mikel, 4.
when your teammates and everybody know that you've had a good game, it's just part of the game. Sometimes, there's rumors back then that you have to. That is all manipulated, isn't it? But I never believed on that. People know people who do these scores.
Yeah, of course.
They have a friendship with people who do the scores, who do these ratings. I never give a shit. I don't want to be your friend for you to give me a good rating. Fuck off, mate.
But you want honesty.
As long as the team is winning.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all that matters for me. As long as I'm performing well, team is winning, forget about it, mate.
Well,
I don't give a shit about your score. You can keep your score.
Okay, I'm not giving you a score, John. It's 10 out of 10 every single week on this podcast. We will be back with another Taking the Mikel. Of course we will. Looking ahead to another busy weekend in the English Premier League. But do check out brand new episode, Gary Cahill on the Obi-Wan podcast, made possible.
Thank you to Bet Winner. Yeah.
Always,
mate. They keep, they
keep us in jobs.
Yeah, the support is good. I mean, they're the number one. They're the best online betting company in the world. I'm not just saying it. If you stake your bet here, there is no issues. There's never been any stories. You win, you get cashed out straight away. There's never been any issue. For me, it's the best. I've seen people message me online saying, "Wow, Mikel, BetWinner is they are fantastic. The way they run their business, the way they look after their winners, the way they look after the company, and the whole thing with this betting thing is,
bet responsibly.
Bet responsibly, exactly.
Right.
Don't be stupid about it. Bet responsibly, and there's so many stories in Africa and Nigeria where people win and they don't get paid, but you never hear that from this.
No, good.
No, BetWinner. You stake your bets, you win, you get cashed out straight away.
And if Ivan Tony's watching this, bet responsibly. Taking the Mikel, Obi-Wan podcast, back with you very soon. John Obi Mikel, myself, Chris McCarty. Ta-ra for now.